What's up, Flockers? We're back with another episode of Flockast 2.0. I guess we're calling it at this point. But I'm Jake Coon, and we're here, as always, with Colin Long. What's going on, Colin?
2.0 or 2.0? Ooh, flock jokes to start us off here. What's going on, Jake? Welcome back. How's your day going? It's a weekend, long weekend at that too. Feels good.
Yeah, not bad. Long weekend. I don't have Monday off, but I did have to take Friday off, Valentine's Day, because our babysitter canceled, so I had to take off work. So me and Boulder have been pretty much spending the entire weekend, but woke up this morning to about almost 2 inches of snow in Columbus, Ohio. So it was like almost a blizzard. No one was ready for it, but we were out doing some errands today. I rinsed out a new tie-dye, one of Greg's shirts that he released, the BU shirts. He actually wore it on the first night of Jam Cruise. So I'm excited to post some pictures of this later on Facebook and Instagram. What's going on with you, Colin?
Wait, he wore it on Jam Cruise this weekend this year?
What's that?
I said Greg wore the shirt on Jam Cruise this year?
Yeah, the first day.
Oh, nice. Yeah, dude, Jam Cruise has been going on, and I've been getting some texts and photos from friends, and I got to say the FOMO has been real AF. Wanted to send it, but just decided this year for financial purposes not to. But it was really cool, actually, when I had my buddy Spencer send me a photo from Jam Cruise, and this would have been his second pigeon show. I took him to his first back in San Francisco just before the pandemic. It was, 2/14/2020, Valentine's Day. Goose opened up for pigeons. But he sends me a photo of him and Ben poolside, and I was like, hell yeah, dude, that's awesome. I love seeing that. He said he was at the show, had a raging time. I want to try to get him on and see if it would be cool to get him on for an episode. We'll see when he gets back. But I've been seeing lots of photos of Jam Cruise. It seems like it's been a really cool time. I'm glad everyone's having a good time, although we're not there. But Jake, something that we did last year that I had a lot of fun with that I thought would be really cool if we did again this year. And since it's a little bit late, but still not too late, I thought, why not dig into a little bit of the stats of 2024 and what did the boys play? What do you think?
It sounds great to me, man. We were just talking before the show, trying to figure out some new songs that happened this year. And I am the worst person to ask about pigeon stats or anything like that. I might know a few of my own personal stats, but I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'm not a pigeons encyclopedia like a lot of different people are in the flock. So, I'm here for that. I'm ready to hear it just as much as you're ready to tell me, my friend.
All right. Well, look, I did the homework, so you can just sit back and enjoy the ride. But it was interesting. Look, it was a different kind of tour year for the pigeons, a little lighter schedule than we're used to. One of the things I thought was most interesting was it was a very heavy East Coast year, a little Midwest. The only 2 times they went out west was in Nevada, and I believe that was for Bender Jamboree and what they play in Reno. What was that?
Man, I forget, but they're at Lake Tahoe, whatever that's called.
Yes, at Lake Tahoe. So, that was the only 2 trips out west. So the West Coast finally getting some tour this year, coming up next month in March, I'd say is long overdue. So, yeah, when I look at the map of just the cities played, I was just kind of like, wow, okay, they really did do super heavy West Coast. I think this year you're going to get a little more love across the country. But I thought some cool stuff. Like when you look at, how many venues, Jake, we'll do some question and answer here. If you had to guess how many venues you think they played in 2024.
Total different ones?
Total different venues, unique venues played.
Well, I was thinking, since you just said that the schedule was a little bit light, maybe like 25, I'd say. Different ones.
And I think you're going to be wrong a lot today if this is how you're guessing, because although it was a light schedule, going through the data, they actually played a lot more than you'd really think. So it shows what a heavy year looks like versus a light year, but they played 53 different venues in 2024.
Oh, wow. More than
right. That
halfway
really
wrong.
kind of surprised me there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was totally wrong. I went to about 12 shows in that, so I was thinking just in my personal
Yeah.
opinions. Yeah.
And I will say this just precursor, we'll call this an asterisk, is that all this data is based on our friends over at Fantasy Tour. So any inconsistencies in the data, I do apologize, but I did double check a lot of this to verify. So I think we're all pretty much on track. So, send your texts, your emails to Jake if any of this is wrong. But as far as how many different songs they played, all right, Jake, would you say the over-under is 200 songs? How many unique songs did they play over the course of 2024? Over-under
Is
is
that
200.
including covers?
All together, unique songs.
Well, what qualifies as a unique song, like a new
As in
song, a
any
cover?
song, if they play it twice, it doesn't count as two. So if they played a
Okay, I
cover,
got
if
you.
they play an original, a song played is a song played. But they only count once they play it. So Stay counts for 0, and so does Poseidon. Poseidon only counts for 1. So
Okay, I got you. Let's say 84.
220.
What? See, I'm telling you, I have no idea. I thought 84 is, but that's insane,
Well, you have to think
honestly.
Halloween. You have to think everything, right? So all the covers for Jimi Hendrix, all the covers for uh, uh, Rolling Stones. You have to realize that every encore at Dome Fest on the Road was basically a cover, right? They had quite a few
Right.
covers played. So when you look at it, yeah, the list is pretty lengthy.
Man, that's impressive.
It
You
really
know,
is. It's showing that just huge range, right? Like that's a lot of songs to know and play besides your core songs, right? Like Water, Poseidon, Cool. They got those pretty locked in, but that's a lot of other music they're playing as well.
yeah, I mean, kudos to them as musicians. And I know people like to give Greg crap sometime for not necessarily knowing all the words to everything. So playing over 200 songs and knowing words to that is crazy.
I think, look, knowing the words, knowing the wicka wickas and the right, like all the parts of it, right? I think it just shows that these guys obviously spend a lot of time rehearsing and practicing. I think that's what I think. We see them for 2 to 3.5 hours on stage, a couple times a year. You don't see the hours and hours and hours they put in rehearsing, and I think that's where this stuff really comes through. Is it's not what you see on stage, it's what you don't see. And I think that's where really you're seeing how good these guys are, is because the work they're putting in is really showing through on stage. Big rotations of songs, a lot of different music. They're keeping it very, very fresh. Even when you look at the songs that are most played throughout the year, we'll get to that in a minute. Like there is still a huge kind of range of what they play. So they do mix it up quite more than I think people give them credit for.
Well, you're a member of the Nest, right?
Yes, sir.
So, so they put up every sound check?
No, they do put up. I
Is it
will say though, the if you enjoyed the intro and the outro of last week's episode, I've been really getting down on the practice jams, the sound check jams, because you can see that I feel like they don't do as much improv on stage as I think they really could. Whether that's by choice, whether, whatever their decision is, they just want to play what they play. That's great. But when you hear them just riffing and jamming in these practice jams, sound check jams, like they're just doing a 20, 30 minute, just kind of odyssey, which is really cool. So like, as you listen to it, I'm like, is this how they, in my head, I think like, is this how they come up with songs in a sense? Like Jeremy's just riffing and all of a sudden he just plays something just in the moment. And then they just listen back and he's like, ooh, you know what? Hold on. And then he just kind of builds off it. I can kind of see how they just that free flow leads to future creativity.
so like you're saying they just release like select tracks that are like jams. They're not like the full sound check or anything like that.
If I, without checking right now, and I apologize if I'm wrong, but yeah, most of them are like 11, 12, 18, 20 minutes. So
Right.
they're probably just taking sections of it or, like, hey, this is the best of, what we did. But Yeah, I mean, if you're a member of the Nest, I highly suggest going over and listen to that stuff. It's when I'm working and I want, because for sometimes when I'm like working and I just want to be able to listen to music, but sometimes vocals will just trigger my ADD and I'll just start thinking about a million things. The practice jams, I'm just kind of in a groove, and then I'm just kind of not listening to anything but the music. But I really do enjoy that. I mean that I suggest that, I not suggest. I look forward to more of it being put up there. But
Yeah.
because the content continues to grow. I mean, the Nest at first was a little light on content, but it was fresh. But they're over time now. You have, between having all the shows that you have up there, the only thing that I wish they would have on there with the shows is a track list, or in a way, because it just shows one 90-minute set, so you're just kind of like fast forwarding through it trying to find the spots. But it'd be able to jump to tracks would be cool if they had a way to do that. But regardless, it's still cool to have those up there.
Well, I was just asking because I was lucky enough to catch like at least 10 sound checks this year. And, they usually sound check for over an hour just playing music and stuff like that. And like you said, they do uh kind of like free form make their own songs, or like starts little threads of songs. It's almost like a comedian going out and doing work and building material or something every time he practices and stuff like that. So they'll have like a little tune or something, or like Greg will be singing something different every time. And I feel like that's a lot of why they're able to release a lot of new music. It's insane the amount of music that they release. It's crazy.
Yeah, look, right before we recorded, I was kind of going through and I was like, shoot, what songs were new for last year? And I was going through and I was like racking my brain, and I'm like, hang on, I found 4 and I feel like I'm missing some. So please leave in the comments what I clearly left off, which I'm sure is probably an obvious one when I see it. But,
Yeah, let
the,
us
the,
know.
the new songs that I was looking at from last year, Treat Yourself, I thought it's a good one. It's still growing on me, but I think it's definitely a good tune.
That's one
The
of the newest
Labyrinth,
ones though, right?
I think it is the newest one.
I think
But I
it's only
love the
been
other
played
Treat
twice.
Yourself, right? It reminds me of Parks and Rec. Treat yourself. If anybody out there, Parks and Recs fans. The Labyrinth, which is interesting because Gator bringing out the handpan. I love it, but it's just it's such an interesting direction the show takes. It's like not like a drums in space comparison, but it definitely it slows the speed down at first, but then all of a sudden you just kind of get into the handpan of it. It's growing on me. I do like it.
Yeah, it's totally something different for pigeons, I would say. You know, Handpan.
Yeah, look, Gator has a new
I
tool, a new toy, instrument, I guess, whatever you want to call it there. But I think
think he's got a
of all
couple
the new
actually.
songs, the one I'm so excited to hear again is Stand Up, Stand Up. Let's get a little bit of Win a Minute. Love it. I listen to it all the time. I'm really mad they played it once at this point. I was really hoping they were going to bust it out in Philly.
When did they play it? New
Uh,
Year's?
yeah, New Year's. It was New Year's Eve.
Okay,
So
so
I
I
thought,
have
look,
not even listened to this yet.
you got to. I mean, look, I've heard a few people. I think Cody
Handpan.
said it's unhinged Greg, and that's like his favorite Greg, right? Like from my standpoint, like we know Greg's a fan of the hip hop and the rap, and I feel like that's as close as it's like the Lost in Line breakdown that he does, but it's different because for days after, I didn't even know what he was saying, but I'm just hearing like the scat man in my head, and
Okay.
I'm just trying to understand what he's saying. But it's such a great song. It's so catchy. But I will say, in my opinion, the song of the year had to be, no doubt, Feet on the Ground.
Feels like that.
That's my thoughts
Song of
anyway.
the year?
In my
First one?
opinion, that's my favorite of all the new music. Absolutely. When they played it in Philly, I went banana sandwich. They played it, I think, 3 times last year. Hang on, let me pull it back up here. Where'd it go?
I like Labyrinth.
You'd take Labyrinth as your favorite of the new music from last year?
Think so.
No wrong answers.
Even even well, I haven't listened to Win a Minute yet, and I'm kind of disappointed that I haven't yet. But what was the other one that you just said?
It was Win a Minute, Labyrinth, Treat Yourself, Feet on the Ground.
Oh, Treat Yourself. I really like Treat Yourself.
Yeah, it's a good song.
So I'm
They
always
said it three
treat
times. I'm
myself
like looking for my
as
giant.
much
I
as
have
I
this
can.
list of 200 songs here. I'm trying to scroll through. See, there we go. Oh, they played it 5 times.
Feet on the ground?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. First debut at the Capitol Theater. Last played at the Brooklyn Bowl, 9:30 Club. But yeah, that's right after they played it at the Colt Troop in Fort Lauderdale. Is I not long went to Mexico after that, and for even though I was there for Fish, as soon as I get back to my room, I drove Shannon crazy by just having feet on the ground in our room, just playing on repeat. I just couldn't get enough of it. But I think with these guys, their new music, I mean, there's not really a song they bring out, and I know I'm a fan, so I kind of just eat it all up. But I can also be objective, and there's not a song they put out where I think it's like, it's okay. It's not a hit. Like I feel like they're just throwing all heat right now, and that just might be my opinion, but I think they're just on a roll with their new music.
Yeah, I think their new music's great. And it uh gets you excited to see where that song's gonna go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of opportunity with their songs. Uh, Win a Minute, I think they could definitely jam that song out. If you go to YouTube, they have one of their clips of their, I guess it's the only one they played at this point. So they have it up there, but you see that song has potential. They can kind of stretch it out and take it from what it is now and just build on to it a little bit. So, another cool stat, they actually, this is not like, it's not called a cool stat, but an interesting one anyway. But what do you think their average songs per show played are? What is their average number of songs they play per show?
We'll be way off, but let's say 14.
Dude, you nailed that one. Well, it's 14.8, but I'll give that to
Oh,
you
okay.
because it's an in between number. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little lower. They're putting that's quite a bit. Look, we said this last week. They've been playing some heavier, longer first sets and some shorter second sets. But overall, you're getting into that kind of 15 to 14, 15 show range, which I thought was pretty cool. But, looking overall, if we think about most played songs, we'll go into the top 10 most played songs of 2024. Any predictions on what you think is going to be in this list?
Okay, I'll make 2 in the top 5,
Okay.
and I'll say Something For You and Dawn a New Day, and then I'll do 2 more in the top 10. And that would be Water, and then let's go Avalanche.
All right. Well, you're kind of you're in the ballpark right there. I'll say you got some right, some wrong. If you look number 10, let's see, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, coming in number 10 at 15 plays, you have Porcupine.
Okay.
So, mostly played in first set, 12 times first set, twice in second set. So rarely a second set, a placement of last year, which actually, when you see most of these numbers, this is actually kind of interesting. You'll see a running theme here of the most played songs, but at number 9, dun 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 dun, Avalanche. So
Yeah,
you're all right
I
there,
got that one. Yeah.
right? And that again, 12 times in the first set, 2 times in the second set. And it's funny because I always think of Avalanche as a second set song.
Yeah.
But it
For
seems
sure.
to I would not have pegged that right out of the gate here. So yeah,
Or like an
one time
encore.
is encore. So when you all right, and the number what are we on here? Is 8? Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 8 spot, My Own Way, with
My Own Way.
16
Okay.
times played. Again, 13 times in the first set. A lot of times, a couple of times it's been closed towards like end of first set. Only 3 times played in second set, no times played at encore. But it's played more than I thought. I was surprised that was making it into the top 10, but they've been busting that one out and really doing a lot with it.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I feel like I have seen it a lot this past year. They were sound checking that a lot for a lot of shows.
I mean, they're killing it with it. So, everything they're doing with My Own Way, what was it, from Philly? One of the things I regret is missing the My Own Way, because all I remember just seeing on Facebook was everyone just going crazy with what they did there. So it's definitely one not to be missed. But, you'll get it at most shows at this point, or a good percentage of them. But in the number 6 spot, number 6 spot, we have little King Kong.
Okay, what was 7?
Number 7 was My Own Way. Sorry, 8 was My Own Way. 7's King Kong. I gotta keep track here. My numbers
Okay,
right.
7.
7 King Kong. But again, 10 first set, 5 second set, and actually twice as encore. So you get a little more dispersion there. We're on number 6.
No, 6, yes, sir.
Wow, wow, bow, 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 bow. Little water.
Okay, that was number 6.
Number 6.
Okay, I got that right too.
Yep. You nailed that one. So yeah, 12 times in the first set, 4 in the second set. So all these are such heavy first set. The most repeated songs are in the first set, almost consistently here, which is interesting there. And then when you get to number 5, you got a little something for you at 18 times played. Again, 14 in the first set, 4 in the second set.
That was a top 5 one. So that was top 5.
That's at number 5 there. So you nailed that one. And then, but when you said Dawn a New Day is a little bit further down. I think that's like around 15th or 16th. So you got some plays out. That was played 14 times. So it's just out of the top 10. From moving up from there, from something for you, you have the dun 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 dun, bam, little FU. And now we're getting a little bit more even spread here. You have 11 times in the first set. But again, I always think of this as second set song for some reason. Most of the shows I've been to, I caught it in that second set slot. But you have 11 in the first set, 6 in the second, and 3 times as encore. So that's the most encored of the top 10 songs you're going to see. Right now, we're getting to the top 3. Any guesses now, based on what we've said, what you're feeling for top 3?
Maybe Time to Ride is up in there.
Not even close.
Not even close. All right. Well, that's my guess.
In the number 3 spot, we have Melting Lights Off the Wall with 22 times played, 21 times in the first set. Very, very early night set. At most every show I've seen, it was in like the 3rd, 2nd, 4th slot. 6 times one time in second set, and never as the encore in 2024. In the number 2 spot, should be no surprise, we have an oldie but goodie, all-time fan favorite, Horizon.
Nice.
Yeah, so 22 times. Now, this is the only one that actually had more times. It was 9 times in the first set, 13 times in the second set. The only top 10 song that actually is played more frequently in the second set, and no times in the encore spot. And in the number 1 spot, Jake, any guesses?
Dude, I don't know. Yeah, let me guess.
I would say that would be hilarious. I would love that if that was the right answer, but that is not the right answer.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you hear it, you're going to kick yourself, because the number 1 most played song, and I want to go back and say this was also the same thing that happened in 2023 if I go back and check the stats. But in the first spot, he stole your motherfucking boat. It is Poseidon.
Oh, Poseidon.
Yeah. 24 times played, 18 in the first set, 6 times in the second set, none the encore. Poseidon, basically almost 50% of the shows you would have seen last year, you would have had your boat stolen by Mr. Poseidon himself. But that's your top 10.
Dang. Poseidon didn't even cross my mind as any of these top 10 songs, honestly. And I don't know why. It's honestly...
It's tough because I saw the numbers, because I want to say, like, I would have guessed it, but then I also think, like, oh, I probably would have been nowhere near on the radar with this one.
Yeah. I mean, it is a fan favorite, and it has been for so long. It makes sense that it's a top 1. but for 2 years in a row, it's kind of crazy. I
Yeah, I
wonder.
want to go back and verify that, but I really feel like it was definitely a top 5 song last year, and I want to say it was top 3 or number 1. I'd have to go back and verify all my stats from last year, but going through, I was looking at other songs. Dawn a New Day played 14 times. Again, only 3 times is the encore. Actually the most encored song last year, and it's not if it's not Doc. What do you think the most? Well, actually, it's tied. There's 2 songs that are the most encored, tied at 5 times played each. If you had to guess what either of the 5 are, what do you think?
Man, what's a good encore? I don't know. Tell me.
Boom, 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 boom. No, I'm just kidding. Fun and Funk. You
Then
have
funk.
5
There,
times played, and Ocean Flows. Now, I mean
ocean
that's
flows.
that's a great encore. So
Yeah.
5 times played each. At 4 times played, you have Schwa. But encores have the most diverse range, right? Dawn a New Day 3 times. King Kong has been twice. FU 3 times. Then you just have a bunch of 2 Sunny Days. You got a Skipjack in there. Yeah, I'd be okay with seeing Skipjack kind of move its way up a little bit. I love a Skipjack encore. Maybe one of my favorites. Doc, all right. The over-under on 2. How many encores has Doc done last year? You taking the over or under?
How many?
Yeah, how many Doc encores do you think you got last year?
Well, I know I got 2 for myself, so I'll just say 3.
Exactly 3.
Yeah.
Which feels like almost as many times as I feel like get a Doc encore, I'd have been like, it's 13 easily.
Well, hold on. Are you able to see the shows that they were on course for?
Yes, I can. Hold on.
One was the recent as DC shows. Our name is Doc.
Oh my God, how did I just lose it?
Yeah, in the beginning of the show, my quality dipped for a second because of my Wi-Fi.
It might come through fine in the end there. So we've been
Yeah, I was
using a new
just like,
platform. If you've not noticed some better quality in video here, so hopefully you're all seeing it at home. I thank you for the feedback as well to everybody at home. We did get some good feedback on the sound and video quality from last week's episode, so made me super happy to get that for sure.
yeah, and I'm also trying to find like a permanent spot to put my computer and everything like that. It's always constantly moving just because we have such a small area here in my house and it's cold. And last time it used to be in the garage, so we're going to move it probably back out here in the garage soon. Did you find anything on those docks?
Yeah, I can't. Well, it's not showing. It's saying position, but position 12. I'm gonna guess at the Megacorp Pavilion.
Oh,
Looks like they
yeah.
played it there.
Yeah, they did.
Um,
I was at that one too.
yeah, I mean the other ones. I mean it's not. It's set 2, position 9. Maybe a House of Blues Boston. It's weird how it's shown this to me, so I'm not sure if I'm giving it the best.
Yeah.
Set 9.
Oh
Anyway,
well. No big deal. It's Doc, baby.
but yeah, look, there's still songs that haven't been played. Stay. I'm wondering if we're gonna get one in 2025. We're now at close to 1,200 days not played. Kind of feel like they forgot it. Maybe someone should buy them the Funk EP, play them some stuff off it. But I will say, I didn't mention this on the last episode, but I will say to Greg, you sneaky SOB, man, on New Year's Eve, or no, at Mr. Smalls, all of a sudden he starts talking about playing an old one. And he's like, I forget what he was saying, but he was doing some chat about playing an old song off an early album. And all of a sudden I'm like, and then like me and a few people, we look at each other, we're like, it's happening. And then they go into French Cafe. And I have to say, I've never been so disappointed to hear French Cafe, and I love that song. But I feel like he just psyched us out. And I don't know if he was just messing with us or if he was just legitimately trying to go into the French Cafe and it's just all in my head. But my God, I got so excited and then so let down to hear a song that's just one I don't always want to hear.
Yeah. He's
It
definitely messing
reminds
with
me
you.
when I went and saw Kid Cudi with Shannon in Miami years ago. And one of the worst concerts I ever went to in my life, but he kept teasing that he was going to play a song that he wrote when he was first starting out and da-da-da. And everyone kept thinking he was going to go into Day and Night, right? One of his biggest hits. And then he'd play some weird, obscure song. And then he would start doing some more banter about, oh, I wrote this one when I was, struggling, just trying to get by and da-da-da. And everyone starts going crazy again, then doesn't go into it and then never played it also, you know? But I felt like the fans were getting psyched out. So I felt like Greg was doing that as well with his French Cafe intro, but still love to hear it. But stay, I guess. I don't know. I was trying to figure out songs that hadn't been played. I know there's a couple songs that didn't make it out and still are in bust out range, but I was didn't have a chance to pull those all together. But overall, I'd say looking at the stats, even though like I guess even I considered 2024 to be a light year for pigeons, it really wasn't that light. They did a lot. It doesn't seem like it sometimes because we're always looking for more announcements during certain times of the year. And hey, certain times when we were used to doing shows in the past, maybe they didn't do them. Obviously, Dome Fest didn't happen the way we wanted. I think this year and coming back, I do have a greater appreciation when I do these stats kind of dig-ins to understand, like, look, how much work are these guys really putting in? I think we kind of underestimate it sometimes. So it's really cool to kind of look at it and go like, all right, 50 venues, that's a lot, right? 220 songs. I don't know one.
Oh, me neither. But
Right?
what was a big bust out this year? I feel like was Overtired.
Yes. When was the
It
last time that was played?
So it was played December 7th in Hartford, Connecticut, and then before that was April 2nd in Portland in 23. But before
Wow.
that was Dome Fest, uh, Legend Valley in 21.
Yeah. So when I look at songs, let's see, songs they only played once. There's a lot of covers in there, and it actually surprised is that they did a lot of Rolling Stones, obviously for the Halloween run. They haven't really played much of that. I was kind of surprised that sometimes they play more of the Halloween stuff, sometimes they don't. I mean, obviously they really haven't played Cake since they did the Stop Making Cake. Some of it makes a heavier rotation. Uh, but yeah, a lot of the Jimmy, a lot of that hasn't been played again. Let's see. Oh, it was cool. I thought they played White Lotus only once last year, but I thought it was cool they played the White Lotus on Jam Cruise. Just it kind
Yeah.
of seems like an appropriate song. Now I'm just going to be like, oh, great. Who's going to die on the ship now?
I don't know anything about White Lotus.
Oh, new season just dropped yesterday or started to drop yesterday. I haven't got a chance to get into it yet, but I'm stoked. White Lotus rules. And I will thank Greg for getting me into it because I didn't even watch it until they played at XL Live in Harrisburg. They played the White Lotus theme. I didn't even know what it was at the time. I was just jamming out to them doing some weird noises and shit that I was having fun with. But yeah, just because Greg was into the show, I heard about it through the band, got into it. I actually just watched the second season again the other day, but I'm stoked for the third season. It should be fun. Shout out White Lotus.
Yeah, do you have the set list from their first night on Jam Cruise?
Not in front of me, but give me 2 seconds and I can get
Yeah, I
that
can
up.
try to find it. Handwritten set list
Handwritten set
for,
list could be the best
Jam
set
Cruise.
list. Oh, it's not live on Fantasy Tour yet.
No, it's not. So I got it right here.
Okay.
The Sail On opener, of course, for Jam Cruise, and then Porcupine, a nice Show Me. They did White Lotus, Into the Liquid, Poseidon, Love the One You're With, Avalanche, into Space Jam, The Hop, FU, Could You Be Loved, FU. Nah, they had a couple sit-ins on that too. I guess the guitar is from Snarky Puppy.
I'll call it
Is
good
that
for a
what it was?
festival set. When you have one set to cram in for stuff like that, like what do you put in there, right? There's so many options. So they went into
Yeah,
some
heavy
obviously
water
aquatic
themes.
theme. Poseidon,
New stuff.
Sail On, a little on brand.
They had horns, the horn section, turquoise horns.
Turquoise.
Awesome. Love them. They're the best. Some sit-ins with turquoise singers, I believe, too.
Nice. Yeah, I went actually on Friday night. I went and caught Papadosio here in Richmond, and they played this place called the Canal Club. It's like a really dirty, grimy rock club. It's like a warehouse they converted into a club. So it's like just got that, I don't know, that grit to it that I kind of like. And I was saying this before the podcast, but all of a sudden, like 15 feet from me before the show starts, I look over and I'm like, is Brett? And I was like, it looked exactly like him. I was like, dude, that's him. And I'm like, oh, what? I was gonna go over and say hi to him in a second. And then I realized, I'm like, hold on a second. Pigeons are on Jam Cruise right now. It'd be tough for him to be here when they're there. And then when I got home, I saw him posting about pigeons. And I was like, thank God I didn't walk through this random guy and just be like, dude, Brett, what's going on, man?
Yeah. He'd be like, what?
But I mean, swear, you'd see this guy's face and you would think it was his twin brother. It was pretty uncanny. But it was cool actually. I wanted to say, I think I've seen Papadosio once before, but it's definitely cool to see those guys again before they call it the end of the year. Another jam band that's unfortunately hanging it up after, I think been around for 20 years at this
And
point.
Papadosio is one of my all-time faves.
Nice.
Their first resonance was in Tascala, my hometown in Ohio. The first ones were at Frontier Ranch, which was right by the development that I grew up in growing up. So Hookahvilles used to be back there and stuff
cool.
too, but Resonance was there. And Papadosio was one of the first bands to get into jam bands and stuff like that. Saw them in the caverns a couple times too, and that was amazing. Sucks to hear going away, and I wasn't able to see them in Covington recently. The 2-night run that they did there, but I'm going to try to see them one more time before they hang in for the indefinite hiatus.
Yeah, so that which is always sad. It was fascinating because the stage, there was like there's pillars throughout the room, so it's not really designed for a concert. There's just too many like obstructions. But the way the stage is set up, the drummer's in the middle, and then like the keyboard and the guitarist, everything's like off the side of the stage, past the pillars. So you really just saw the drummer and a little bit of the bassist, and everybody else it was almost sides. That's how like silly the stage was, unless you were on the outsides of the pillars. But it was a cool show. We had a great time, super fun. Really wish I could see them again. Maybe I can. I think they're playing through December, so they'll still be around for a bit if you want to catch them. But wish them well, and I'm glad I got to see them. So it's But one of the things I was looking at the stats, which was cool, is that actually, I wasn't living here at the time. The Pigeons kicked off their 2024 run with 2 nights at none other than the National right here in Richmond, which is a venue I really, really hope they come back to, because being in my kind of local mid-sized venue, I really like the National, and I really want to see Pigeons play a couple nights there. So looking forward to that. And then when they finish this amphitheater in town, if finally Phish can announce their 3-night run here in Richmond right before Dome Fest, I look forward to that as well, because I really want to make August a really kick-ass month. And I think a 3-night Phish run in Richmond and then straight into Dome Fest would be kind of best case scenario. So we'll see. Wishful thinking for now.
It'd be pretty cool. Be rough, honestly.
It will be rough, but I will have some coffee and some supplement gummies by our friends at Funkin' Good Foods. Pre-sale for Funkin' Good Foods mushroom coffee begins March 1st. Full on sale will be probably by 4/1, maybe a little sooner than that, finalizing some details now. But go to funkingoodfoods.com or at funkinfoods.com. Go to at funkingoodfoods on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Like, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff for more information. More to come soon. But yeah, very excited about what's coming in the pipeline for that. So we're working hard to kind of finalize everything there. So we're really excited about what that will mean for later in this year. Working on some stuff for Dome Fest right now. Nothing to announce yet because nothing's official, but things are in the works right now. So we're really excited and looking forward to Dome Fest regardless. After a year off, a little distance to make the heart grow fonder. And I am very excited about Dome Fest this year.
Yeah, I'm excited about Dome Fest this year too. We applied for a bigger tent this year, so hopefully.
A bigger one. You going by 10 by 20 if you can?
Yes.
Nice, dude. That's big time.
Yes, hopefully we'll be able to get accepted as the vendors. You
I
know,
think they said it's like the 21st of this month. Is that we're making that date up? I feel like maybe it's March 21st. I don't know. I feel like the 21st is somehow related to it. I don't know. Be on the lookout. If you've applied, they've sent you information. You should have all the details. I'm patiently
I'm
waiting as
looking at it
well.
right now. I'm trying to see. Yeah.
But the more I look at the Ace, what is the Ace Adventure Resort? Am I saying that correct? That place looks cool. Activities during the day, music all afternoon and night. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to camp, if I'm going to RV, if I'm going to sleep out under the trees. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I just want to do it better than I did Dome Fest last year, where I just drove a car there and just slept in the car. I went full wook. It was worth it. It was fun. But I would like to have at least a bed this year.
At least a bed. Yeah,
At least a
I'll
cot.
probably be camping, honestly, if I make it. But deadlines for the vendors application is March 31st. They don't have like when they'll tell us
Got it. 21st,
July
31st. I
1st.
had the first part right.
Uh, well, we will make a first round of picks for vendors on April 5th. So that's
Nice.
first round. They're gonna have 2 rounds.
Yeah, I don't know. I sent them all the necessary information. I sent them some scantily clad pictures of myself just to entice them, whatever it takes to get me across the line. Skin to win, I always say.
You're right. Hope you're.
Otherwise,
No,
I
dude,
just
I'm
sent those
so
photos of
excited.
me for nothing, and that is just not cool.
Yeah. Uh,
But what do we got coming up on tour for the balance of this year, Mr. Jake?
well, I was about to say for Dome Fest, let's hopefully get this lineup announced when they get back from Jam Cruise.
Oh, that'd be good. Do you think we'll get it that soon?
Why not?
Oh, I don't know.
Initial
I just
people,
don't know
they
when
can
they've
do
done in the
like,
past.
so when do ticket sales go up? I think they go up soon, right? The 25 blind faith ones.
Oh, when the tickets go up in price. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, it would be
Um,
after that date because it's no longer blind. You know. You
yeah.
know?
So I'm trying to see when that date is right now. I think it was on their Facebook Dome Fest. I want to say it ends soon.
Oh, it's got to. I mean, look, we're getting close enough to where they got to start getting it in. But look, high flyers sold out, VIPs sold out. They got that stuff in early. I slept on it. My bad. I'll be salty.
It's so crazy that so much is sold out already for them. VIP cabin tent, VIP
I
backstage
only get mad
cabin.
at myself for sleeping on it because this is what you want to see. Because look, I was reading about last year, and it's been a rough couple of years for festivals. Obviously, I think last year we saw a lot of cancellations. You saw a couple of last minute cancellations where the festival was like a week away and they're pulling the plug on it because, look, if you don't get those early ticket sales, you don't have that revenue to book the bands. Otherwise, you're booking it out of pocket, hoping people buy tickets last second. And if they don't, well, holy shit, you've just shelled out a lot of cash and you're not getting that back.
Yeah, dude, that's such a good point. They're probably, getting people on Jam Cruise right now. Like, hey, guys, why don't you hop on this lineup for us right now? Like, we
Oh,
just
look,
have almost everything sold out.
I mean, I expect every what's it called, encore banter for the next few months. Greg just making sure he's throwing in the Dome Fest sales pitch. Get your tickets now. Dome Fest, West Virginia, Ace Adventure, yada yada. Like, I mean, he's
Bro, they
for
won't
years
even
he's done
have
that.
to.
Yeah,
I know, but they won't even have to because this is going to sell out. This entire music festival is going to sell out. Guaranteed.
I sincerely hope it does. I'll be the most excited for them if it does. I believe it will too. I think, look, just based off of how the early sales went, it's got to be a big sigh of relief too, is that so much sold so fast, which, like, all right, now when they're putting deposits on artists, on venues, on insurance, on all the things they have to buy and pay for, hopefully they have that they're pulling from the festival funds, not pulling from the Pigeons' personal checking accounts. Because that's anxious. I think that was part of the reason last year is they went the way they did, which I think ultimately ended up being a really good choice. But they were like, look, we're not going to gamble this year on it. We're going to build the fan base back up. We're going to get it back right. I think bringing Dogs, bringing Frasco on the road brought a whole big mix. And I think all three bands got a lot of fans out of it. They created a whole big party on the road, which these guys throw. And I think they parlay that into this year, and they're going to do really well. I want to see this place packed. I want to see it be a lot of fun. And I think we're well in line for it to do that exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun, dude. So much. So excited. So let's go into these tour dates,
Let's go.
coming up. They are on Jam Cruise right now. But when they come back, they're gonna go hit the cold in Colorado, March 5th and 6th. They start out their tour in Steamboat Springs. Those are gonna be some eaters. All these Colorado shows are gonna be fantastic. But then they hit Boulder Theater on the 7th and 8th. March 9th.
Are you familiar with Squeaky Feet, or is that Swerve?
Yeah, Swerve is, I think, a Midwest band. They were on Fish Lot for Deer Creek last year, just doing pop-up shows and stuff
From
throughout.
Fish Lot to open into Pigeons. That's good.
No, I mean they're local, so that's why they were online. You know how uh, what was it? Mountain Grass Unit was out in Billy Lot this weekend in Asheville playing.
Nice.
Mountain Grass Unit opens for Pigeons. It's not like they're just out there before the show playing, busking a little bit.
Yeah.
But they've also played at Woodlands, so Tiffany's seen them at Woodlands, and I've heard great things. Squeaky Feet also heard great things with them. Also, it doesn't say that they have an opener for the 5th and 6th in Steamboat Springs, so it looks like it's just an evening with the old Pigeons.
Oh, just an intimate evening with the Pigeons.
Yeah. But yeah, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, and then they got a day off, and then they are in Utah March 11th with Squeaky Feet, March 12th in Arizona with High Fade. High Fade's actually playing in Ohio, I think, the first Wednesday of March. So then they're going to head out west after they hit the Midwest, doing some shows. And then Pigeons are going to be opening for the String Cheese Incident, March 13th and 14th in Solana Beach. Wait, they're doing 3 nights with String Cheese. I thought it was only 2. So March 13th in Los Angeles, they're going to be with String Cheese. March 14th and 15th, they're in Solana Beach with String Cheese.
And the Wiltern's such a cool venue. I saw a Trey band there back in like 2005, I think it was, something like that. So much fun. Really cool theater. It's like what you want in a theater. It's got that just regal feel to it, just cool architecture, styling, like just cool setup for a show. There's a few theaters I go to where I love just the aesthetic, I guess. The Wiltern's definitely a cool spot.
Love a good venue. Venues can make it and break it for a good show.
Oh, 100%.
And March 6th, they're in San Francisco, starting to head north up the West Coast. March 8th, Chico. 20th in Boise, Idaho. March 20th, 21st in Seattle, Washington. 22nd, Portland, Oregon. 23rd in Montana. And that ends their little tour. They start festival season, I guess, in April down in Florida, and then do their Midwest run at the House of Blues in Cleveland, April 25th in Chicago, April 26th in Grand Rapids, Michigan, 27th in Lexington, Kentucky. And right now, currently going to be doing the Cleveland.
Nice.
May 8th to the 10th, they're in Mexico, in Cabo, with Goose. And their most recent announcement, May 16th, with Natalie Brooke, Pisco Brewing Company in Black Mountain, North Carolina.
Which seems like that's a cool ad. That's that if there's any shows I see on this pop up on this list, that one. I love the poster of it, and it's even funny what you text me with Yuli and Rudman's heads put on them. But I love that kind of like Nintendo, like 16-bit kind of styling of that. That was I don't know who the artist was who did that, but shout out, that was really cool. I love it when I see some designs they put out that are kind of retro and have that feel. But I love that one.
Nostalgic, yeah, for
Nostalgic,
sure. That was
yeah,
awesome.
No doubt.
But yeah, with Natalie Brooke, you're going to have Nathan Shulkin, who just did percussion with Pigeons. He's in Natalie Brooke's band, who is a keyboardist. So we're going to have keyboards and percussion with Pigeons that night. So going to be a great show.
Look out.
And then the 29th, 30th, 31st, and June 1st and 2nd, they're going to be doing that little jaunt with the infamous String Dusters and melt through the Northeast.
And I'm kind of bummed out because I was going to originally be going to the June 1st show, but my other day job has me out at a trade show, so I will not be there, although Shannon will be there rocking with everybody else. So if you see her, say hello, but I will be out of town, unfortunately. I'm kind of a little frustrated on that one, but, got to pay the bills. Unfortunately, priorities, adulting steps in sometimes and got to make your choices. But those should be fun shows. I love Levitt Pavilion. I've been there a couple times. I think they're going to throw a great show down there. Connecticut fam, what up? Yeah. Little bummed, but it's such is life. You know what they say?
It's life. Yep, and then they go to Columbia, Maryland for the All Good Now Music Festival. And then what we're really wanting to see is Dome Fest, August 7th through the 9th in New River Gorge, West Virginia. And the last date that they have currently is the Bristol Rhythm and Roots Reunion in Bristol, Tennessee, which is in September. Yeah, that's it, guys. Coming up on an hour, so we're wrapping it up. Thanks for listening. As always, Colin, good seeing you, buddy.
Always a pleasure, my friend. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've made it this far. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time.